What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're going over the Meliodas Duo Festival character and covering the team building guide for this character, guys. We're going to be covering a bunch of different team setups that you can run on your account, and yeah, I mean, this is going to be for both PvE and PvP. We'll just kind of talk about generalistic teams you can run, and then we can kind of interchange the characters as needed. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy videos like this, man, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as we're on the road to that 50,000 subscribers, and we recently hit that 48k on the channel, guys, and we've been grinding a ton, man. So I definitely do appreciate if you guys hit that like button, sub, and turn that post notifications on, because it's obviously going to help too with you know, just seeing future videos on the channel. So with that out of the way, guys, let's hop in and let's talk the pretty much these only really three team archetypes, really. But we have the Sins team, we have the Demon team, and we have the Goddess team. So let's talk about each of the teams, and I'll explain why you're running what characters and what other substitutes you can run as well. So one thing to take into account, guys, with Meliodas is that if you actually go to their passive here, they are able to be run on applicable allies for Demons, Goddess, and 7 Deadly Sins characteristic. So we're covering the races of Demon and Goddess, and then you have the 7 Deadly Sins type team as well. So any of those teams, you're getting this first part of the passive where he's getting all stats based on the applicable allies on the team, right? So if you're running other applicable allies, you're gaining the all stats for the, you know, Meliodas. Now, one thing to take into account, though, is that if you're running it on a 7 Deadly Sins team, you're not going to get Sword of Darkness, and you're not going to get Shield of Light, because it says if all allies participating in the battle are demons, and then if all allies are goddesses. So you cannot like get that buff pretty much if you're running a 7 Deadly Sins team. It's not that you really need this buff anyway, but it is definitely very good depending on the team. I mean, demons and goddesses definitely benefit a lot from this, but you don't necessarily need it to be able to run like a Sins team and do well. I think Sins team is still a viable option, and even though they don't have anything exclusively in this passive, you can still actually run that team and do well. And so now that we know pretty much what the archetypes of teams that we're kind of looking for, guys, is going to be, let's talk about the teams that we actually have here. So the first team here is going to be a 7 Deadly Sins team. Now again, we talked about it, they're gaining 7% all stats for every sin on the field. So we have You Are Gulther, we have Queen Diane, and then we also have Merlin in the backline here. Now, the idea is You Are Gulther is actually providing basic stats for the team, guys. If you didn't know, You Are Gulther actually does increase basic stats of allies of the 7 Deadly Sins characteristic by 5% for each one participating in the battle. So we're not only getting the all stats from Meliodas, we're actually gaining the extra basic stats from You Are Gulther, getting up to 15% extra basic stats. And then another thing, too, that's part of You Are Gulther's kit as well, is that if you do 3 different allies of different races use a skill, you're actually going to rank up You Are Gulther's you know, entire hand pretty much for him, and then you can actually use a rank of follow-up to actually rank up the rest of the skills. And because we have a giant here, we have a unknown, and then we have a goddess slash demon, that actually does work, and we're able to take advantage of that. So that's really good. And then Queen Diane here, obviously being the brand new LR character we recently got with the Lancelot Fest. Yeah, I mean, LR Queen Diane is insanely good. You know, she's not really restricted to a certain type of team. Like, we don't necessarily have to run her on Sins necessarily, but because, you know, Queen Diane is getting the buffs from, you know, You Are Gulther and Meliodas being on the team, that it's actually not a bad idea to run this character. You know, this character is going to be really good in PvP because we do have the damage cap, right? Hero cannot exceed 60% of max HP. That's obviously insanely strong. And then another thing too is that we're giving attack related stats to the team as well, right? We have the 15% when we stance up, and then if we do actually have you know, Diane's Holy Relic there, which if we register it here, we're actually getting extra damage dealt as well, guys. So that's really good for the team. You know, we can draw damage away from Meliodas for that turn and be able to provide the damage dealt and attack related stats on top of what they already have. So that's obviously like very good, guys, but what is the reason why we're rocking the Merlin in the back? Now, this Infinity Merlin right here is able to provide with her Holy Relic only basic stats for 7 Deadly Sins characters, and also damage reduction depending on debuffs that you're applying on the enemy. So if we wanted to do kind of like a debuff oriented setup, we could actually maybe run a Green Sario Link on You Are Gulther per se. So just as an example here, guys, if we wanted to do, you know, Green Sario Link just to be able to bestow the grace where we're you know, decreasing critical chance critical damage, we could actually do that and actually benefit from the damage reduction that Merlin's providing from the backline. And also, if one of the characters on the team do die and Merlin comes out onto the field, she's going to automatically be applying her passive where we're getting debuffs on the enemy, so that actually would give us more damage reduction, which is good. So you can see here, decrease all allies damage taken by 3% up to 30% for every debuff applied to the enemies. And if all allies including the secondary slot are 7 Deadly Sins characters, you're actually gaining 15% basic stats across the board. So you guys can see the synergy here with this team. We're getting a ton of basic stats, and Meliodas is going to be pretty much untouchable. You know, we have Queen Diane drawing the damage away, and then Meliodas can just start going crazy once they get that Bladed Judgment. So yeah, guys, in terms of like alternate characters here you can run on the team, it's a bunch of flexible options, right? I mean, you could do, you know, Green Gother here if we wanted to do like another Gother on the team. So we could do, you know, Gother here. Feel free to run, what is it? The green rank up Gother, right? So you have obviously this one. You could do red Gother. Those are obviously options right there. Now, if we wanted to swap out Diane, we could do, you know, UR Escanor if you wanted like another DPS, right? So if we go like the Escanor, yeah, guys, I mean, you have that option, right? Just feel free to run any characters here that slot into 7 Deadly Sins. I definitely do recommend running the Merlin backline though for the basic stats, but you pretty much have the option to be able to run multiple different team comps with this. So, you know, get kind of crazy with the ideas there, guys, in terms of the sins. You can kind of mess around and see what works for you. But I think this is going to be a very strong team and actually will be pretty good even in PvP where, you know, you might think that it's only going to be really demons kind of dominating the game. I think this team could actually be very good as you're drawing damage away and being able to rank up Meliodas. Last thing that I wanted to mention here too, guys, is you can actually run the basic stat cards here for 7 Deadly Sins, and this is going to be available in the Artifact Wish Draw event, so I will definitely be making a video on that. But you can actually get the basic stat card set here for 7 Deadly Sins. So if you actually scroll down right here, this one right here, this is going to increase your basic stats of the 7 Deadly Sins allies characteristics by 5% as well. So if you want to run this card set too, just to get that extra 5% basic stats, that's really going to help out your overall tanking and also your damage with the team. So I think that's definitely something that you want to consider. Alright, guys, so that covers the 7 Deadly Sins team. Now let's move on to the main team here that we're going to be rocking with this character. I feel like is going to be the Demon team. So demons are going to be a really big staple for this character because we're getting the Sword of Darkness, which is going to be the damage of 200% initial attack, and then we're also getting the damage dealt for the entire team. So that's obviously very strong, right? Being able to do that. Now the character size slotted here for the Demon team, guys, are going to be DK, so original Demon King, and then we do also have Gelda here. Now as the DPS characters on the team, we have multiple threats here that the enemy's gonna have to worry about. Gelda here is gonna build up HP as we're light stealing with Meliodas and with Demon King, and then Gelda's gonna have an absurd amount of HP. You're not really gonna be able to deal with her, right? She's gonna be hard to kill. And then Demon King here, he actually has damage cap in his kit, which is pretty strong, right? Being able to, you know, have that damage not exceed 50% of max HP for the first 2 turns, I think could actually be really good in drawing damage away from Meliodas to where people might be kind of scared to leave Demon King alive alone, you know, because he could still pop off and do his crazy damage. So I actually do think that him being on the team is going to be a very synergistic thing. And then also you can run obviously blue Cusack here in the backline. I think there is a bunch of options as well in terms of your backline support though. You could definitely run the red Chandler if you have this one. So this one's actually going to be a little bit better, guys, if you run red Chandler, because you're actually getting 30% damage reduction and a little bit more attack related stats than you were if you were running Cusack, because Cusack is actually just providing the it's the attack related stats, but also he's giving you yeah, decreasing the enemy's crit chance and critical damage by 20 and 30% respectively. So that's also not too bad as well. Like, you can feel free to run that, you know, if you do want to kind of lower their damage to you. But again, you're getting damage reduction with Chandler here. So I actually do think Chandler will probably be the optimal backline for this team because you're getting a ton of damage reduction and you're still gaining that attack related stats that you would not have already had. And you're going to get a really good chunk of that. So I think that's going to be really strong. And yeah, I mean, there's a ton of flexible options here on demons, guys. I mean, you know, talking about other dominant demon characters, we gotta go to like Demiurge, right? I mean, he was absolutely absurd. Let's go to races here and let's go to unknown so we see the Demiurge there. But he was absolutely insane on demon team too. So feel free to slot in Demiurge. Feel free to slot in, if we go back to demons here, feel free to slot in like LR Zeldris, let's say. You know, you have options with that in terms of demons you can run. You know, so like LR Zeldris. Red Esterosa is going to be another crazy good character for the team too. You know, he's obviously a major threat, especially once he, you know, strips his buffs. Make sure if you're going to be running Red Esterosa though, you swap out Demon King, because if you're running Demon King, he'll lock your commandment though, so you have to be wary of that. But yeah, I mean, that's still another option too, guys. And yeah, I mean, there's so much other options on demons. I ran Blue Chandler before. You know, I've run Green Chandler backline before as another, you know, backline support of a character. You know, Blue Ominous Nebula on field could be another option too, depending on the content you're doing. So yeah, I mean, guys, really flexible character here in terms of the demon team. And yeah, I mean, I think demons are going to be one of, if not Meliodas' best teams in the game. And finally, moving on to the last team that we got here, guys, is going to be the Goddess team. Now, with Goddess team, Meliodas is going to be more of a supportive kind of damage dealer on the team, whereas if you were normally running like Queen Elizabeth in this slot, guys, we would have just kind of a standard damage dealer. We wouldn't really be giving other support, though, for the team, right? I think Queen Elizabeth can definitely provide support with her Holy Relic, but I think the support from Meliodas, where you're getting the start of turn healing, and then just the basic stats 15% for the team, nothing to scoff at right there, guys. I think that's overall going to be very good. Now, in terms of the characters we're slotting in on the teams here, we have Mael, we have LR Margaret, and then we have Eli in the backline. So the idea is with the team is Mael, especially in PvP, will be allowing you to be able to not get your stats lowered. So immunity to stat decrease in PvP. That makes Meliodas just absolutely absurd, because they aren't a character that can be immune to, immune to stat lower. They can be stat lowered, but if you run Mael, they literally cannot be stat lowered. That's insane, right? And then you get the damage reduction by 20%. Miles' Holy Relic means that he's going to be kind of a damage dealing threat as well, as your teammates are using single targets or AoEs. You're building up either straight up damage dealt or attack related stats, which is obviously very good. And yeah, Miles is nothing to scoff at in terms of his damage, guys, so he's another character to kind of worry about while you're trying to deal with that Meliodas on the team. And then right now in this kind of third flex slot right here, we do have LR Margaret. Now, I do think that eventually in the future we will probably get like a Tristan or something that could maybe replace this character, because I think honestly, LR Margaret's probably the one holding the team back a little bit right now, just because of the fact that, like, even though you are able to obviously buff up, and, you know, with LR Margaret being able to provide you with the attack-related stats, right, you're getting crit chance, crit damage, right, as you're cleansing the debuffs, it's not bad, but I think overall, you want to have just, like, turn one, just crazy damage dealt, right, like, obviously, Margaret's able to build up the basic stats, throw out a bunch of turns, but it's going to take a while to be able to do that, whereas Demon Team just off the rip has their damage instantly. They just have all their damage off the rip, right? They don't have no build up other than, I guess, like Gelda, HP build up, which is easy to do because it's just lifesteal. So that's the thing with Goddess team, guys. I think that they kind of lack. They kind of lack like another supportive character here on the team that's really going to be another threat, because I don't feel like LR Margaret's really that much of a threat. If you take out Mael, you take out Meliodas, and LR Margaret's left over, she's not really going to be doing anything. Whereas with Demon Team, you take out Meliodas, you take out Demon King, Gelda can still be a threat. You take out Gelda, you take out Meliodas, Demon King can still be a threat, right? So you have that, kind of flexibility with that team. Whereas with this, if you take out Mael and Meliodas, LR Margaret is kind of screwed screwed for herself pretty much, right? Like on her own, she's not really going to be doing that great. But yeah, and then for the final character here, guys, we got Eli. In terms of like flex options though, for like Eli, you could definitely run Tristan. I know Tristan right now did not get like a Holy Relic or anything. I know a lot of us were kind of expecting him to get one. But yeah, no, he didn't get a Holy Relic, but his passive still works for Meliodas and for the Demon Team or for Goddess allies as well. So you're actually increasing the Demon allies attack related stats by 3% for each Demon ally. So that's going to actually apply for Meliodas, and you're getting the defense related stats for Goddess allies. So that means you're getting 45% Goddess ally defense related, and you're getting the 3% extra attack related. I mean, it's not crazy, it's just 3%, but it's still definitely extra that you're going to take on your characters, guys. I mean, that's going to be really good. So Tristan is an option, but I think overall, Elat's going to be the way to go, because if you actually look at Elat's passive here, guys, she's going to be increasing Goddess allies basic stats by 5% for every Goddess ally participating in the battle, which means you get 15% basic stats off the rip, and then Goddess ally damage dealt is going to be increased by 3% for every buff applied to Goddess allies, which remember, Margaret is applying, the damage dealt, damage reduction buff that she provides. That's going to be giving 6 buffs off the rip, which gives us, what is that, 3 times 6, that's 18%, on the damage dealt department right there, guys. That's really good, right? And we're only missing another 2 buffs right there to pretty much finish out that passive. So I actually do think that is a very good thing to run, and probably your best backline for a Gods team right now in the game. I think Tristan is definitely a close one for more of like a defensive oriented team, but I do like the basic stat from Ela and the damage dealt as well, and I think that's going to be probably the best one you can go with at the end of the day. And then just like with the 7 Sins team, guys, for demons and goddesses, they have their own exclusive artifact card sets. So for demons, they actually do have one here where they're getting extra damage dealt against any other race that's not demon. So let's actually scroll down here and let's go to the card set. So it's going to be this one right here. Increases demonized damage dealt to other races by 10% and decreases damage taken by 5%. So that's going to be the one you run on the demon team. Whereas if we're on the goddess team, we're actually going to be running the goddess ally basic stat card set, which is going to increase our basic stats by 3% for each goddess ally participating in the battlefield by up to 3 times. And because we're only going to have 3 on the front anyway, Margaret, Mael, and Meliodas, we're going to get that buff. So that's obviously very, very good as well. So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers the top 3 teams right there you're really going to be running for Meliodas. And yeah, depending on the team setup, guys, I think you're still going to have a really good time regardless of the team that you run. I think Demons is probably going to be the most dominant of the 3, but you still have the option to be able to run 7 Deadly Sins team. You still have the option to be able to run Goddess team, and I think they're all still going to fare very well in the game at the moment. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think about the teams that I've showcased here, guys, in terms of what you have as options, and let me know what team you guys are going to be maining for Meliodas. Are you going Goddess? Are you going Demon? Are you going 7 Deadly Sins, guys? So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, guys, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.